My name is Nneka, and I used to believe that if you loved someone deeply enough, they would never hurt you. That if you gave your heart honestly, with both hands open, it would be held gently, protected. I believed this when I said yes to Chuka, the man who once made the sun rise in my chest. He was everything a girl was raised to pray for. Handsome in the quiet, commanding way. The kind of man who spoke less but meant every word. He was successful, owned a construction firm, built his mother a house before 30, and led the morning prayers in his church group. When we met, I was teaching literature at a secondary school in Port Harcourt. Our conversations were deep and deliberate. He liked how I thought, he said. I liked how he listened. The way he called me a queen felt different from the usual sweet nonsense men used to charm women. He made it sound sacred. We dated for just under a year before he proposed, kneeling on one knee in front of my entire family on my birthday. Everyone clapped. My mother shed quiet tears. My father nodded with approval and whispered, "He's a good man." Our wedding was simple but elegant. And in that first year, I glowed. I cooked his favorites, white soup, ogbono, yam porridge. I ironed his shirts with care. I kept our home clean. I prayed with him. I prayed for him. I prayed to be a mother. We waited for the child to come. At first, I didn't worry. These things take time. But then the months stretched into years. Each time I took a pregnancy test, I prayed for 2 lines. Each time I got one, I told myself, next month. He didn't pressure me. Not at first. But then he began to spend more time away. Claimed his new government contract was demanding. I believed him. When he came home smelling of a different cologne, I convinced myself it was just car air freshener. When he stopped touching me in bed, I assumed he was tired. But deep inside, something started to shift. I wasn't naive. I just didn't want the truth. One afternoon, after teaching a particularly exhausting class, I stopped by the hospital for what I thought was a checkup. I had been feeling weak and feverish for weeks and assumed it was stress or typhoid. The nurse took my blood. I sat there, scrolling through my phone and thinking about what to cook for dinner. When she returned, her face was unreadable. She asked me to step into the private room. I remember the way her voice dropped when she said, "Madam, your test result came back positive." I blinked. Positive for what? She hesitated. HIV. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it didn't make sense. HIV. Me. There must be a mistake, I said. They ran the test again. And then again. Each one said the same thing. I didn't cry in the hospital. I didn't scream. I didn't even speak. I walked out with my envelope in hand, heart pounding against my chest like a drum of war. I sat outside for hours, watching the world continue as if mine hadn't just shattered. The sun went down. I didn't even notice. I went home that night, numb. Chuka was seated on the couch, watching TV. He looked up and smiled. "What's up?" "I need to talk to you," I said. He muted the television. "I tested positive for HIV today." His eyes froze. He blinked. Then he scoffed. "What are you saying?" I went to the clinic. I was tested 3 times. Same result. Silence. Then, "So, who've you been sleeping with?" I stood there, stunned. "I beg your pardon." "You heard me," he said, sitting up straighter. "You come back from school and bring this kind of nonsense. You better tell me the truth, Nneka." I laughed, but it came out like a scream. "You're asking me if I cheated on you?" He stared at me. That was all the confirmation I needed. He was guilty. I threw the envelope at him. "You did this to me. You gave me this. You put this in my blood." He didn't deny it. He didn't apologize. He didn't cry. He just stared at the result in silence and rubbed his forehead. And in that moment, the man I had prayed for, cooked for, waited for, disappeared. For 2 nights I didn't sleep. I watched him move around the house, avoiding my eyes. I found his second phone, the one he always said was for business. I went through it. Hundreds of messages. Women saved under fake names. Pictures. Hotel bookings. Voice notes. Raw confessions. Unprotected. Repeated. I packed my bags and left. I returned to my father's house. My mother wept until she was sick. My father didn't speak to anyone for days. I was supposed to be the girl who made good decisions. I had married right. I had done everything right. Still, this was my fate. But it didn't end there. Chuka's family came. His mother. His 2 sisters. His uncle. They came with food and long, heavy speeches. My son has made a mistake, his mother said. But please, don't destroy the marriage. My father sat stone-faced, his jaw tight. Your son gave my daughter a virus. And you call it a mistake? She continued, there are drugs. She can still live a normal life. What God has joined, let no man put asunder. I stood. What about what your son has broken? He shattered my body. My faith. My peace. I cannot go back. I became an object of gossip. People whispered behind my back. At church, some women stopped sitting near me. A few mothers pulled their daughters away when I walked by. One Sunday, the pastor preached a sermon about purity in marriage. I got up and left in the middle of the message. I wanted to disappear. But instead, I began to fight. I found a support group. Met other women, bankers, nurses, market traders, even a pastor's wife, all infected by their husbands. I cried for all of us. I started taking my medication religiously. I educated myself. Learned about CD4 counts, viral loads, drug regimens. I realized I was not dying. I was healing. I wrote an anonymous blog post titled, "He Cheated." I'm positive. And I'm not ashamed. It went viral. Women from across Nigeria sent emails, comments, DMs. I started writing weekly about shame, healing, fear, forgiveness. I called it Unbroken Wives. Then came the day I stood before a crowd of over 300 women at a seminar in Enugu. I spoke with my face uncovered. My name is Nneka. I am HIV positive. I did not sleep around. I did not use drugs. I was just married to the wrong man. And I am still whole. The applause lasted 2 full minutes. Months passed. Then Chuka reappeared. I was at the pharmacy waiting for my refill when I saw him, slimmer, eyes darker, face lined. I've started my meds too, he said. I nodded. I'm in therapy. I miss you. I stared at him. The man who had broken me. The man who had watched me unravel without a word. You miss what? The woman you buried beneath your secrets. I've changed, he said. I believe you, I replied. But I've changed too. And I never belonged to someone who destroyed me. He tried again weeks later. Sent messages. Called. I never responded. He could never reach me again. 1 year after I walked away, I registered an NGO called Strong Hearts Nigeria. We offered free HIV testing, partnered with local clinics, hosted training for medical staff, and created safe spaces for women like me. I stood in classrooms, churches, youth camps, even police barracks, telling my story. Some listened. Some didn't. But many women began to speak up. And that, to me, was enough. I adopted a little girl, Edora. Her mother had abandoned her at a clinic after learning she was born with the virus. I held her close the first day we met and whispered, "You are not a curse. You are a miracle." She calls me Mama now. And every night when I watch her sleep, I realize this virus didn't kill me. It introduced me to my strength. It reminded me of my voice. It helped me walk away from a man who loved himself more than anyone else. And it brought me to my purpose. I used to believe love was enough.